This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio. If this is your first time checking us out, woohoo! We appreciate it. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Each joined by Q and Jazz, as in each and every morning, Saturday morning at least. How is everyone this morning?
Good.
Good.
Was y'all ready for my woohoo?
It
definitely woke me up a little bit.
How was everyone's week?
Good, man. Had a good time at One Light last night. So yeah.
Yeah. How was that, man? You watched a victory last night too.
I can't say I actually watched, but yeah.
Were people in the pool? That's the question.
No, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there were like people in the pool. It was pretty fun.
Oh, man. Well, you watched the game. We're going to talk about the game coming up on the show. The Kansas City Chiefs took on the Minnesota Vikings last night in their third and final preseason game before they faced the Cleveland Browns. We'll give our thoughts on how the team looked, and it's cuts week. So we'll find out who we think is going to be on the chopping block. Also, Nike continues to emphasize mental health by closing all global offices this week to give employees a break. We'll give our thoughts on that. And the NCAA approves J.R. Smith to play college golf for North Carolina A&T. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our sneakers of the week during our Hater 11 segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
The Kansas City Chiefs took on the Minnesota Vikings last night for their third and final preseason game. Like Steve had said before, got the dub. What did you guys see from the Chiefs team last night and going forward? What do you think?
It was a good first quarter. I can say good first half at least. And Patrick Mahomes, 8 for 9, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, there's 2 plays that I want to highlight real quick, and those were his 2 touchdowns. Now, we talk a lot about how the offensive line is going to mesh, and we look at, word around the NFL is that other teams aren't playing their starters. And Andy Reid is known for having a tough training camp, but Patrick Mahomes is coming off of that toe surgery. He's coming off of the team coming off of a bruised ego after losing how they did in the Super Bowl down in Tampa. So I felt like they needed to play. He needed to play just to mesh well with his offensive line. And then you look across 300 miles away, Baker Mayfield. He hasn't played. So it's like, all right, who's going to come into this game ready? But let's take a look at the first touchdown from Mahomes.
Mahomes with time, going over the top. Caught! Touchdown, Chiefs!
Well, and that's the risk you take if your defense is about man-to-man. If you're going to go man-to-man, do you press Tyreek Hill and try and get hands on him to slow him down? If you miss, that's what happens. Watch as they're in press coverage. Tyreek Hill, he never even touches him. The corner doesn't get a hand on him. Breeland, of course.
Does that number 21 look familiar?
Yeah, that was a little too friendly. That wasn't even defense being played.
I think that was a little personal right there. That was that one right there was personal. And I posted that on Twitter last night. Of course, I got a lot of flack from that, but I don't know how y'all feel about it. But of course, Rashad Breeland, free agent. He decided to sign with the Minnesota Vikings cornerback. Won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Went to another Super Bowl. But I felt like, he wanted to press. He knows how fast Tyreek Hill is. He's faced him in practice for 3 years. So I'm like, is that what you landed on? You really want to press?
Yeah, it looked that exchange. To me, it looked too friendly. Like there was no physicality. And then he just got beat off. I mean, as soon as go was said, he was beat. So
yeah. And then looking at the other touchdown from Patrick Mahomes, 4 tight end set. Let's look at that.
He's close. Mahomes caught. Is he in?
4 tight ends. All 4 tight ends on the roster in the game at one time. No receivers. You saw Darwin Thompson coming out of the backfield. I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. The fact that I asked Andy Reid about it after the game, and he really didn't go into too much detail. He said, yeah, because I said, have you ever had a team where you're able to play 4 tight ends at once? I mean, there's other teams around the league that's been able to play 3, but 4 at one time and then you score. Because when you throw in 4 tight ends, what's that tell you? We're going to run the ball. We're going to pound it, pound it inside. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on the 4 tight end set and what that would mean if they're able to do that throughout the season.
I mean, for them, it means a lot because they it says, and to me, it kind of says you need help in the run game. It with that even being a goal line formation. Yeah, you would think that they would run the ball, but again, it's Andy Reid, and he's known to run the annexation of Puerto Rico. So he's gonna pull out all the tricks. But I think for them, that's just a good formation to have because you can do anything out of it, and to have that many tight ends that could run routes, catch passes, and then still move after catching the pass. It's not many teams that can do that. You look at Rob Gronkowski, he just kind of overpowers. He doesn't really, run past people like that. Yeah. And if they can get Travis and all the tight ends on the same page as far as like route running, that's going to be a deadly type of formation, especially 10 yards and in.
Yeah, it's just because you don't really know. Jazz, your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I honestly, like Q had said, I wasn't really shocked just because we know how Andy Reid's known to just pull about just anything. So it wasn't shocking to me, but I think it definitely shows both sides of being able to be a threat and to even have that in the back of your head as an opponent. Like, if they do this, they could do this. Like, there's so many different options at that point. And I think that was a flash of saying, like, kind of a flex of saying, like, we could even do this on you if you really want us to. So I think preparing and seeing different formations like that is going to be tough for opponents.
Yeah, and you made a good point as well. It's like now you have to prepare not only for the deadly deep threat, but now they're going to take it's kind of like what they did last season, which didn't pan out in the Super Bowl. We know that, but it's kind of like, all right, Mahomes, they're trying to take away your deep ball. Well, let them do that. And that's what Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy said this earlier this week. It's like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has given everyone the formula on how to beat you. Be physical, take away the deep ball, and make you run the ball. So now it's like, okay, we're going to have to run it. That's going to have to be a point of emphasis coming into this season. And now we see that they're definitely going to have a variation of looks, and it's going to make the teams have to prepare for everything.
For sure.
Yeah, and then they're going to have to execute. In the Super Bowl, it was a lot of drop passes.
Yeah,
it was a lot of. It didn't even look nervous. It just didn't look so prepared.
Yeah,
for sure. Now, Nike continues to emphasize mental health by closing all global offices this week to give employees a mental break. They're making moves to avoid employees burning out and stress. What are you guys' thoughts?
It's really interesting because Nike over the years has taken a lot of flack of just not supporting not only their athletes but also just their workplace environment. I know Q brought it up during the meeting earlier this week. It's like, all right, you've taken over the past 20 years, Nike's looked at as a bad guy. All they want is money. Well, now I think, the heat is on, as the song says. So it's good that they're finally coming to, but is it too late? Have people already jumped ship? Is this kind of saving face for Nike? I mean, we look here, you have one of their stores that just closed in at the Country Club Plaza. So are you losing money? Are you, in the boardroom now? Are you like, all right, well, what can we do to keep people to buying our products? What can we do to make ourselves look good, to make our image not look tarnished as it already has been in the past? So I think it's a good thing for everyone.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing for those office employees. You would hope that Nike continues to emphasize, mental health, even going across the board with their employees. Like if this is just the global offices, then I'm to ask about the retail workers, the people that run the stores, that actually make the money that Nike makes. And we don't know, like we don't know what their plan is for their retail side. And it's like a white collar, blue collar thing. And we don't respect our blue collar workers like we should. So yeah, if Nike's going to take this step in emphasizing mental health, it needs to be across the board on all employees.
For sure. Now, one thing I did think was interesting is that whenever they bring their employees back, they intend on doing a 3-2 flexible work model. So they're allowing employees to work remotely up to 2 days a week. What are you guys' thoughts on that also?
I love it. One of the bright spots of the pandemic was being able to see how companies can be flexible, being able to allow people to work remotely. You don't always need to be in the office. You don't always need to be present. And you need to allow people that flexibility. There's a lot of different things in life that you have to take off work for because you can't physically be there.
Right.
And that's not right, especially when you look at a world now where work can be done virtually and from home. And you can work remotely and don't have to physically be there. So,
and you mentioned that work from home. Now, when the title here says Nike continues to emphasize mental health by closing, that doesn't mean they're giving you a day off from work. That just means you don't have to get in your car, and drive into the office. So I don't know if they're still expecting people to work from home, because I mean, of course, now that they've understood now how to do it virtually, they're able to do meetings and everything via Zoom or whatever platform that they're using. So it sounds good. It really does. And you see Alexis Stone put in the chat, I had worked for Nike before and hated it. Definitely. They need to do better for sure. This isn't enough, but I guess it's a start. It is a start. And as you mentioned, Q, made a good point about the blue collar, white collar. You have all those people that don't have to drive into work, but what about the people that are at the factories? What about the people that are here at the Nike store, at wherever the Nike stores are? So do you think that they should close the stores for a day? Like, okay, well, you guys are getting we don't have to wait for a holiday. We're going to give you our own, paid holiday, just call it a mental health day, and just close stores, not worry about the money that we're going to lose for that day, and just so you guys can get right.
I think that's only fair, because I feel like if you're doing it only for the corporate side and the people that go into the big offices, then that's kind of telling your employees that work at the shoe store like that their mental health doesn't mean anything, or it's lesser than. So I think that's only fair to put it all the way across the board, like you said.
Agreed.
Now, ESPN removes Rachel Nichols from NBA programming, cancels The Jump. What do you guys
Yeah. Long
Q,
overdue.
we'll start with you. Yeah.
It was just long overdue. It needed to happen. And Rachel Nichols is seeing the consequence of her own actions, words, and thoughts. And it needs to happen. I'm excited for it because it gives other anchors a chance, other journalists a chance to move up, to actually push their ideas forward. The jump, was the jump specifically her idea, her show, her thing? If that's so, then yes, like that we need to make room for other ideas. There's the media world is just so bland that it doesn't speak to all of America. And it only speaks to one segment of America. And ESPN has been seeing these seismic shifts really over the past couple of years.
Yeah, and just because they got rid of Rachel Nichols, that doesn't mean that the higher ups, it's the environment's still not the same. Like the thoughts and everything, ESPN is still going to be the same whether they remove Rachel Nichols, because she's just the front man, right? She's just the person down there on the front lines that's kind of displaying what the back end is really thinking. So just because they remove that doesn't mean that it's not their workplace environment is still not the same. And I really don't feel like she agrees with it. Like she never really most of the time when someone does something wrong, they come out and what do? They apologize. They make a statement. Hey, I shouldn't have done this. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see her being sincere about it. When they removed her, it's like, oh well, nothing. What she said with there is that nothing's meant to last forever. Well, duh, we all know that. But here's the thing: it's like it's not meant to last forever. But you still have a show that was canceled prematurely. So that has to mean something. And will they bring her back for something else? I think they'll try to ease her way back in, like each and every other network does. But it's good. And not only that, but she's supposed to be sticking up for women.
Supposed to be.
She's sticking up for women, but I feel like that she thinks, oh, everything's all good because I got mine, and she's thinking about it, from a personal aspect and not as a totality. So, it's good for ESPN to make that move. Let's see what some of the other moves that they're going to make.
And I mean, ESPN's been forced to make moves, so it speaks to the leadership there. You're being forced to make moves when you could have made these moves on your own.
And even in her her tweet, she had said that with promise of more to come. So that I feel like that doesn't necessarily mean that all it's a dead end road and all of it's done. There has to be, like she said, more to come.
Yeah. She's just trying to save face. That's all. More to come. Like, oh, where she's moving on to something bigger and better. No, cap.
All cap.
I wish she had a cap button, just like Now, ESPN might sign Michael Irvin to co-host on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, though. Steve, we'll start with you.
This is interesting. We all know, and we've said it before, when they decided to release the information about removing Max Kellerman from First Take, we were all like, well, who can they get? Who can they get that it kind of mirrors, Shannon Sharp? Because to me, Undisputed, which is on Fox, Undisputed is the best sports show besides the W that's out there, right? It really is. I mean, you have Shannon Sharp that's just going to say, whatever. He's very candid. And Stephen A. Smith is like, it's not what's up anymore. People don't relate to him. So I don't know. But Michael Irvin, when you hear him talk, he definitely says whatever he wants. People respect him. And I think if they're going to move to anybody, if this is the only person that you have, it's not a bad deal. But it has to work. and we know we don't. It really does. It has to work. Now I know, Q. I know what you're gonna say. It's like, well, when has ESPN had two black anchors right on at the same time? I don't remember. I don't remember when they've had two that has a show like this. So,
well, I mean, you had Jamel and Michael Smith, and then they canceled. It didn't last long because they wanted to speak towards humanity. So
yeah.
But I mean, it in theory it sounds okay, and just as Alexa's saying, it's going to be loud. That's really going to be a loud show because both of those guys get to yelling and don't even really make a point. So yeah, I mean, this doesn't excite me. Like personally, it doesn't excite me. There might be a base in sports viewership, sports talk show viewership that might want to see this. And then I saw another rumor that they were gonna make it like a Big Three type thing, where there's three hosts. But ESPN is just grasping for straws right now. They can't really, they don't know and they're clueless. And they don't understand their base. So again, they're targeting one demographic. They're pigeonholing themselves, and instead of grooming new talent and bringing them up and then creating shows that are interesting, they just keep trying to reinvent the wheel, and it's falling on its face.
Yeah, and Stephen A has made his brand. I mean, he's definitely the guy that is going to be boisterous. He's going to speak what he feels, but they need something to make it funny, because people don't just want to be serious the whole time. And Stephen A to me he's not funny at all. Like he's always serious. So they need something to make it funny, if that makes sense. And I think Michael Irvin, he brings it. I don't know if there's anyone else out there that right now that is in television. I'm sure there's people that are in the ranks, coming up in the game, but I don't know. But they're going to try to mirror what Undisputed has done, and they need somebody that's respected too. Because if you're going to talk that talk, you got to be able to have something to back it up. And Michael Irvin definitely has that.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Now, NCAA approves J.R. Smith to play college golf for North Carolina A&T. Former NBA sharpshooter J.R. Smith is officially set to become a college golfer.
I love it.
There you go.
That segment, yeah. But I definitely love this. From one golfer to another, right? Like, first of all, he's done a lot, and LeBron James has made this man a lot of money. So, and for him to be able to say, "Hey, I didn't go to college. I want to be able to go back and get my education," but then figure out, all right, well, how can I get this paid for so I don't have to bring the money out of my pocket? It's cool. It really is. And not only that, but he's going to bring a lot of recognition to North Carolina A&T, because some folks have never even heard of North Carolina A&T. So for him to be able to do that, and to go from one professional sport to not a lot of people can go and play college golf like that. That's definitely, it's competitive. It's really competitive, because you have some pros that are playing college golf that could really be on the tour, but they've just decided to go get their education. So I think that this is going to be really cool. The fact that he's been able to go play pro basketball and now going to play college golf. And then we talked about during the meeting, it's like, is he really going to go to class? Like, what kind of school is he doing? And he tweeted out earlier this week, like, I'm really going to class. Like, I'm really doing it. I'm studying. I'm doing everything I need to do. Like, no one else is going to class for me, because that's what I immediately thought. Like, all right, he's taking these Zoom classes. He's not really going to class. Somebody else, he's like, here's $10,000. Take my class for me, and I'm just gonna play golf. Nah, he's not really doing that. He's actually going to school.
Yeah, no, and he's gonna have to be a student again. And I think for him, this is him going back. Now that he's made the money, now that he's played in the NBA, this is him just sharpening his sword. being able to acquire new skills, to go attack a new world that we're living in, after it's been ravaged by a global pandemic. So I love it for him, but then I also love it for the culture of HBCUs. North Carolina A&T isn't a very big name in HBCUs, but if you know anybody that went to A&T, you know any Aggies, you know how prideful they are about their school and about the community that they've created down there. And it's another big up to HBCUs. When you look at, the Chris Pauls with his, walking into different games with HBCU apparel, you look at Rasheed Wallace, going back to college and helping these young men. You look at Deion Sanders, there's a lot of these guys that are really making a huge push towards HBCUs, and I love it.
And props to them for going back and doing another craft, because I know after you get some money, the last thing I want to do is go back and sit in a classroom. Like I'm on an island, I'm on a beach somewhere. I'm not sitting in algebra 2. What? So props to them. I have mad respect for that, for sure.
And we talk a lot about baseball, like getting more youth playing baseball, not only just youth in general, but black kids playing baseball. Now he's a black man that has done a lot. He's been on the main stage, and now he's going to play a sport that not a lot of black kids are playing. Like, kids don't grow up thinking, I want to go to college to play golf. There's definitely another avenue for kids to be able to say, hey, I don't have to worry about concussions. I don't have to worry about my knees, my back, none of that. Golf is really a calming and relaxing sport. And kids need to really have that in their back pocket, because a lot of what I was told growing up is that there's a lot of business decisions made on the golf course, a lot. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, that's why, I went and figured out how to play golf, and I learned at a young age. But this is huge for just Q. You mentioned the culture, but it definitely is.
It definitely is. And even you mentioning that, a lot of black kids don't do that, but it's you also look at sports like golf and tennis that intentionally keep, black kids out. You look at the country club process where black people don't get access to country clubs. So that's why exactly. And it's not cheap for a reason, to keep out a certain demographic. So again, you look at, the culture of ESPN, you have to look at the culture of golf and tennis and swimming that doesn't go out and get these athletes. Like, you look at basketball programs and football programs and baseball programs that go get these kids from these poor neighborhoods. So yeah, this is definitely a step in the right direction, and you would hope more country clubs are more welcoming.
And since we're talking about golf and black kids playing golf, just youth in general, if you guys are, shout out to Chris Harris with Harris Park.
Definitely,
who's put golf in the inner city. He's built a state-of-the-art golf course right in the inner city. So look him up. He's on social media. Look up Harris Park. He provides free golf for inner city youth. So go down there and check it out. It's definitely worth your while.
Definitely,
for sure. Steve, do you think you could give him a run for his money on the golf course? Last question. I
probably could. I think, but here's the thing about it though. He plays every day. I don't get a chance to play like golf 24/7. He has the money, like you said, he has the money to just sit out there and play every day. And if I could play give me about 3 weeks. If I could get out there every day, most definitely. Yeah. Please.
All right, fair enough. We're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll continue our top headlines discussion. Starting with the NFL banning reporters from the locker rooms during the 2021 season. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's put a ride home.
COVID-19 has changed how we vibe. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Is it safe? Should I get it? Is it free?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. We'll start off with the NFL banning reporters from locker rooms during the 2021 season. They stated no more than 50 non-players will be allowed in a locker room at one time, and everyone with access must be vaccinated for COVID-19. And what was not included on that list is reporters. In fact, NFL went out of its way to hammer home that the point, writing in bold font, non-club affiliated media will not be permitted in the locker room. Steve, we'll start with you.
Why did they have to put it in bold like that? Like, but here's the thing about it. The NFL has provided a lot of access for media over, let's say, the past decade. They provided a lot of access for media, and it felt good to be back in person, like, because everything this past year had been done via Zoom. Everything from interviews to having to raise your hand to get questions in, all that sort of thing. But this past week, media were able to go back and be in person inside a facility, which is cool. We still have to wear a tracker. We still have to be, tested every 14 days and all that. But not being in the locker room, I mean, that's really not a big deal. I don't think, and I get it. Like, we get a lot of access to be able to get up and go and get one-on-ones, post game, things like that, stuff that you wouldn't get with them, being 10, 12 feet away from you, standing at a podium amongst a room full of people. So to not have access, I know it'll come back around, but media members, we talk about it all the time, that the NFL, they also are kind of trending to them being able to put out their own content for clubs to be able to have their own access, that's why it's in bold font. It's like, all right, if you're not NFL sanctioned, or whatever the term was, sanctioned, like reporter, then you're not going to have that kind of access. And I think they really want to be able to say, hey, go to Chiefs.com and get all of your content. Go to BaltimoreRavens.com and get or even NFL.com. We're providing all this content for you guys that you're not going to get anywhere else. So, and then there's money behind it. There's also sponsorship. So I get it. That's another way. That's another avenue for them to be able to generate revenue.
Yeah, and I think you made a point that they're trying to control the narrative, basically. And you look at how journalism is these days. It's very different. And it's very different from both ends of the spectrum, when you look at good and bad. And I think for the players, this is good because it gives them, a chance to sit in the locker room in their own personal space, and instead of being, bombarded. You look at, you think about a lot of these interviews, you start thinking about the Jalen Ramseys, you think about the Russell Westbrooks. When you look at their clips, they're literally surrounded by like 20 or 30 people in their face. Yeah. So I think for players, this is a really good thing. Before the NFL, I think they need to figure out how to like you said, allow those one-on-ones and allow that different content to happen, because it seems like they're just muzzling a lot of the content that goes out, and again, trying to control it.
Yeah.
Sure. But I can agree with you, Q, on for the player side. I feel like it's important for them to be able to have that moment, like you said, to regroup, step away after games, before games, not be so bombarded all the time. And I think it made me think about, first, like, as an athlete myself, a lot of the experiences in college and everything, like some of the most fun times were kicking it with your teammates in the locker room after a game, or or like getting hyped before a game, and that wasn't always stuff that necessarily needs to be on camera or reported, but those were like for your own personal memories that they might be missing out on now. And then for the interview side, it made me think about how many interviews that were done right after games or a heated game or whatever, that a lot of that could have been said just because it was the heat of the moment. Like, if you would have given them that time to get in the locker room, get by themselves, regroup, and then ask them questions, how different their responses may have been.
Yeah, I can agree that decompressed moment. They don't always get that. I mean, there's probably a 10-minute window from leaving the field to heading into the locker room, doing whatever that you're doing on the field, whether it's jersey exchanges, and I'm talking about in a normal world, but jersey exchanges, heading down to the locker room, Coach Reed having given a speech, and then going to your locker, going to the shower. Probably 15 minutes. So getting in the shower, and then you got all these reporters roaming around trying to talk to you. I mean, I definitely get what you're saying. At the same time, though, that's kind of like what you signed up for. That's what kind of goes up into your into your paycheck. You have to be available for the media, and I don't think that's talked about a lot in college, even high school. Being available to know. All right, here's how you act in front of, media when you're in front of a microphone, when a microphone is in front of your face, built in front of your face, still be yourself, but be mindful that you never know where content is going to go.
Yeah, and it borders on the conversation we had with about Naomi Osaka, looking at a month and a half, 2 months ago, where she didn't want to speak to the media, and she took her fine and that ultimately didn't even play in the tournament. So yeah, you look at the, like you said, them being able to decompress, them being able to have that time after the game, and football is definitely an emotionally charged game. So there's has to be some common ground in this, but again,
yeah, for sure,
we're in a new world.
Yeah, there's been times in the locker room where it's you have some celebrities that go in the locker room and they want to have like a private conversation with a star player, and media immediately pull their phone out, like, oh, trying to get that I got you moment, or trying to get that, oh, I went viral on Twitter or Insta or whatever. And I've seen some of that happen firsthand, and it's like, man, hey, back up, man. Can we get a minute? And then it's like, dang, they really told him that, but it's to be expected, really, and it shouldn't be that way. But people want to put out have the first whatever it is, or have the top retweet or whatever, because they have that kind of content.
Yeah,
for sure. Now, Steph Curry's parents are facing a divorce after 33 years of marriage.
It's you know what, it's I feel for Steph, like for a story like this to come out. What does that do to even though he's a grown man, your parents have been together for that long, and now it's put out in media, we're talking about it. So it's definitely, it has to be tough for him. It's like, man, y'all, because we look at the Curry family, they were like the Cosbys, really. Yeah. they could, Dale Curry and his wife, they do no wrong. They had the Christmas cards that they post every year with the matching pajamas and all that. I didn't see this coming, most definitely. So it has to be tough for Steph to have to answer questions about it. And I'm sure there'll be a million questions. We talk about media asking and trying to get content. Well, there'll definitely be some questions that won't respect his privacy.
Yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't look at this as a a bad thing. I wouldn't look at it as that. Maybe they weren't happy together, and I think we need to, start a culture of not looking at divorce and separation and breakups as a bad thing. You look at it as, people growing apart from each other, but then growing better as an individual. And I think for them, they made that decision. Like, this isn't what we want anymore, and we're moving along. And I can't say a clean breakup, because what is that? What is a clean breakup?
Yeah.
But I think it's not going to be as messy. I just hope the best for everyone involved, because it's divorce and breaking up and changing family dynamics is not always the best. But it could be the best for them in this situation. So, best of luck to everybody in that.
Absolutely. And especially in a public light, it's always hard.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and when money comes into play, it's like, all right, well, where's the money going? I think that's when what makes it tough. I mean, you look at the people with the big money, like the Amazons, the Bill Gates, those type of people. It's like, all right, well, such and such got $500 million or $3 billion or whatever the number is. I hate when that's put out there of, what is it called? Alimony. So yeah, I just hate that.
Now the Blazers' Damian Lillard addresses trade rumors, says, "I'm not leaving PDX, not right now, at least." Q, we'll start with you.
I mean, I love it, especially getting ahead of those trade rumors, because we know how crazy it gets and guessing teams and all of that. So yeah, he squashed the rumors, and I love it for him, because he can go focus on what he's focused on in his off season. And him putting out this album, I don't know if you heard it, Steve.
I haven't,
but I heard it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to check it out today.
I haven't. I'm gonna have to check it out as well. Now, the thing that got me is he said he's not leaving, but he said not right now, at least.
Yeah.
So that's still putting a lot of pressure on the Portland Trailblazers. It really is. Because he said no, not right now, but yeah, not now, at least. So it's still in the back of my mind. Like, if you don't go out there and get the players that I want you to get, if we don't win, if we don't make it to the finals or far deep in the playoffs, hey, I'm out of here next year. So it's putting them on notice. I think they've been on notice. And shout out to Chauncey Billups, who has become their head coach and gone up there and it's probably has had the tough conversation with Dame. It's like, all right, man, at least give me a year. Give me a year to try to figure this thing out. And make something happen. And at least Dame's respected him enough to say, all right, I'm going to stay here. Maybe it is for Chauncey. Maybe it is to get that, because they have that relationship. He understands, like, you were a point guard. You know where I'm coming from. You've won a championship, so you've been where I want to go. And it's just that respect factor. Like, all right, I'm gonna give you possibly this year, and we'll see how it goes. But you got to do something for me. You got to make us a legit. Not saying that they're not legit right now, but make us a contender. Go out there and help me get some pieces. That way, we're able to keep up with the West, because the West isn't easy. I mean, you got LeBron in LA. We just talked about, you got Steph. You got Dallas with all those guys. So it's gonna be tough. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Now we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
With Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us with whatever topic you want. Don't forget. Now, starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Diana Taurasi Nike LeBron 18 GOATs.
I like these. These might be my favorite on here. These are pretty dope. The picture doesn't do the colorway justice. These are really dope. I think that Diana Taurasi, I think she's one of the top WNBA players in my mind, and the collab with LeBron, these are nice.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a LeBron's fan, but I kind of like this colorway, like you said.
I had to disagree on the colorway, but I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt on it being better in person, to be honest.
Yeah.
To be completely honest. The Air Jordan 4 2021 Lightnings.
I like these too. I really don't like yellow shoes. Yellow shoes just do something like to my
really.
Is it? Yeah, I just don't like yellow. I don't know. I've just never been a yellow shoe fan. I guess that's just what it is. But it's cool. Maybe they just like walking bumblebees or something. I don't know.
Now these ones definitely have the right name. The Nike Air Presto. What the? Yeah, that's definitely what I thought when I saw the shoes for sure.
Yeah, it's I don't really. I'm not a Presto fan, honestly. They just don't do it for me. But
yeah, those red ones are interesting. I think with the right fit, it could work. But I don't know. It's a lot of colors going on there.
Yeah, you have to wear like black jeans, black t-shirt, or something.
Yeah,
because you couldn't have a shirt that's doing a lot with these sneakers. You got to just be plain and then let the shoes speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Thanks. My personal favorite this week, the Nike Dunk High 1985 Acid Wash.
I like these too. They kind of have that. What is that? Like a cow print type vibe.
Yeah, that's the acid wash. Yeah,
it's pretty. Those are nice.
And the more I look at them, I like them. I definitely think they could work.
Yeah.
That colorway, the neutrals, I think you could go with a lot too. Like you could use it as a splash of color, or yeah, they're tough for sure. Now, Teddy Bridgewater named starting QB for Broncos. Hate it or love it.
Written on the wall.
No, y'all know where I'm going with this.
Hate it.
One more time.
Hate it.
Here's the thing. Drew Lock just doesn't, and when I hear it all the time, it's like, oh, well, you just do it because you know Drew. No, I think that he's definitely a good quarterback. He's not getting the opportunity to showcase talent. Like all these other quarterbacks have 2 years, 3 years, and on that fourth year, if it's not happening, then you kind of move away from it. But I think, I don't like it. I just don't.
Yeah, you might not like it, but this is the right move. Drew Lock is not a starting NFL quarterback. Is he a second or third string guy? Yes.
Third string?
Is he a guy that can give you some experience? Maybe if your starter is missing 3 or 4 games, maybe 6 games, he might be able to win 2 to 3 of those to kind of keep the season afloat. But no, this is the right move. This is John Elway finally taking his not so direct moratorium on black quarterbacks in Denver. So lifting that, and then putting in a guy in Teddy Bridgewater that can win you some games, and especially with some athletes and some pieces around him. And you hope the defense can help them. But going up against a Chiefs team, Chargers team, these teams in the West, they have to compete, and Drew Lock is not going to do that for you.
Here's the thing. You put him in a position where he can't win. You put him in a position where a lot of times you get guys like, let's just say Patrick Mahomes, right? And I don't want to compare the Drew Lock to Patrick Mahomes, but I have to in this instance, because who did Patrick Mahomes come in the league and sit behind for a whole season? Alex Smith. Alex Smith, no matter what people think about him, and no matter how you feel like I think about him, Q, Alex Smith was still a winner. Like he still understood the game of football, and he gave all of that knowledge, passed it down to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes even said that. He was like, I'm a sponge. I was a sponge for a whole year. He taught me how to be a football player. He taught me the game. And who did Drew Lock come in and sit behind? Nobody. Like he came in and was expected to be the man right away. That is a recipe for disaster. Like it just doesn't happen. He's going into his third year now, and I've been hearing a lot of guys this week talk about when they come to the NFL, they look at it as a college season. Look at it as you come in as a freshman. You're learning your first year. Your second year, you're that sophomore. You picked up the scheme. Now stuff is starting to move. And then your third year, things are starting to slow down. You're a junior. You're getting ready. You're getting amped up. You're like, all right, I'm making my senior year. And then your senior year is when things just really take off. So right now, Drew Lock has played his freshman and sophomore season. So he's going into his junior year this year. So I think this was that year that he needed to. If it didn't work this year, then you wouldn't have heard anything else from me. Right. But for them to just move on from him, and Denver has been a rebuilding since Peyton Manning. They haven't figured it out. So you had those years of losing, and now you just want an instant gratification. And they gotta stop. They really do. Fans, Denver fans, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop with the Drew Lock hate. I'm saying it right now. Y'all gotta stop. It has to end today.
And I mean, the Denver Broncos definitely had a chance to bring in a guy to mentor him, to really teach him the game, and Colin Kaepernick. And they decided not to for very obvious reasons. And now you're seeing it 3 years later. They're still looking for a guy to run their team. So, I mean, John Elway just keeps shooting himself in the foot, and that's really his own issue.
Now, Mountain Dew's Flamin' Hot set to release later this month. Hate it or love it.
Trash.
Hate it. Hate it.
Oh man, this if y'all can try it. Let me know how it ends up for you. But
heartburn. That's how it's gonna end up.
I just hope it's a joke.
Spicy and sweet. That's not gonna end well for whoever tries that. And it's a drink too, so it's not like you can eat it. You got to drink that.
I mean, people drink all those energy drinks, so they'll probably love this too.
What does that taste like?
Trash.
Now, Khabib says ring girls are the most useless people in martial arts. Hate it or love it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
I hate that because these are they're doing a job. They get paid to do a job. No matter how you feel about them, you're the fighter. You continue to fight. Like you're not even like, I understand what you're trying to say, but these women are there to do a job. They get hired on to walk around with the card and look pretty. Like they don't get hired on to do another job. Like that's their job. So if you don't like it, do something about it.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the misogyny in sports we talked about back in the Super Bowl on Radio Row. And it's, he didn't even know what he was against. He just saw a woman and felt like she was useless. So yeah.
Hate it. Now, NFL Players Association is leaving Panini and signing a 20-year trading card deal with Fanatics starting in 2026, per sources. And the NFLPA is now joining MLB, MLBPA, as well as NBA and BPA in a new Fanatics trading cards company. All parties will have equity stakes in the new venture. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I love it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about who can provide the most. And with trading cards and with memorabilia and apparel skyrocketing over the past couple years, they want to go with what's hot and who can provide the best bang for their buck and what kind of return they're going to get. So I love it. But here's the thing: what are they going to do to make it to continue to make it relevant? And they must have some stuff in the works to make it to where it's beneficial for all parties.
Yeah, you would hope so. You just hope it pushes the trading card industry. You would hope it just pushes it into the modern era.
Eating one hot dog takes 30 minutes off of your life, studies suggest. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
Steve hates it because he's taking hours off of his life.
Days. Days, man. I've eaten a lot of hot dogs in my day, but at barbecues, at sporting events. Like, man, I don't agree with this. Like, who does these kind of studies anyway? How do they know? Like, how do they know that eating a hot dog is going to take what is it, 35 minutes off? Oh yeah. Nah, that's not cool. I don't think that's right. And how can you measure this study?
Yeah. Did a hamburger write that article?
With Cam Newton out, Mac Jones is seizing his opportunity. Jones had completed 21 of 23 passes against the starting New York defense with 14 straight completions. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
At the end of the day, I think Cam brought this on himself. The whole deal was that, Cam didn't get tested. He wanted to go back home. I mean, he didn't get vaccinated, but he wanted to go back home to Atlanta for talk to his own doctor, things like that. And by the rule is, if you leave, you do something like that, you have to sit out 5 days. And if you sit out 5 days, then what's going to happen? Next man up mentality. Mac Jones is a rookie. He's at some point, he's going to be the face of the organization. Now, this is just what it is now. So, Cam, you put this on yourself, man, and I've been riding with you. So, I hate to see it. I do.
Yeah, he's trying to shoot himself in the foot. I just hate it. I hate it for Cam Newton because I don't know what's going on in his head.
Now Cam Newton should turn off the rap music, ex-Patriots quarterback says. Hate it or love it.
I hate that.
It.
Like, what does rap music have to do? If anything, it's getting him ready to play. Come on, man. Stop it.
It's just it's funny looking at people trying to like covertly hide their racism and say it's something else. Like Tom Brady listens to rap music and he's fine. Like let's not blame rap music. I just want him to say what he has to say or what he wants to say instead of trying to censor it and blame rap music.
Come on, Scott Zolak. Like, who are you? I mean, nobody knows, man. Stop, man. Turn off the rap music and stay focused. Come on. Cut it.
Hate it.
Hate it. 5-star PF Tyler Smith skips college, signed 7-figure overtime elite contract. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I love it. I do. Get your money, man. Get your money.
Definitely love it.
And Kevin Garnett crops Ray Allen out of photo he shared to Instagram account. Hate it or love it.
Hate it.
And why y'all still mad? Now, here's the original picture. And then you got KG's post. Come on, KG. Stop being petty, bro. I hate that. I hate the fact that they still mad.
Yeah.
Y'all mad because he left and went to the Miami Heat. I mean, come on. They still mad. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is.
Throw the shade. Throw all the shade you want.
Right. We appreciate everyone who tuned in and hung out with us on today's show. What do you guys have going on for the rest of the day?
Working later.
Chilling.
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 Enjoying some nice weather. Remember, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. And we also have the podcast up with the show, Sideline Sports Talk Network. Download it wherever you get your podcast. We are out of here. Until next week. See you when we see you.
Peace.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.